Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our show. We're visiting today with Lynnea Hagen, who is a very famous author, a best-selling author. She's a very wise business coach and just a ton of endless other things. She runs the fashion runways in Milan, this kind of thing. So she's,
My
yeah,
dream.
yeah. She's hotter than Smokey the Bear in a fire. So. All right, so Lynnea, we said we might talk about yeah, I pushed the button on the timer. Talk about your books, and we especially I'm gonna go look over on Amazon again to make sure. That's why my head gets turning here. We talked about your book on stuckness.
Hmm.
It's called Lynnea Hagen on Stuckness: 140 Insights and Tips to Get Unstuck, Get Going, and Get What You Want. Can you tell us a little bit more about this book?
Oh wow. Um, it was what it was. The reason there's 140 is that each of the insights and tips is 140 characters, and this is when Twitter was limiting you to 140 characters. So
Yeah.
they're actually created for people to retweet them
Okay.
to spread
Mm.
not me, which would be nice, but also just to spread wisdom and help others as well.
Okay.
And they're gleaned from a model that I created, and it's called the biosystem of success.
Mm.
And one of my talks is, if you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be? And
Okay.
my biosystem of success is actually modeled on a tree, a beautiful tree, and it shows
Yeah.
that as much foliage and beauty as there is up on top, it's only going to grow as big as the cleanliness and the vitality of the roots.
Mm.
And
Okay.
so it looks, at all of those and what they represent, what the trunk represents, and rain and sunshine and all that type of stuff.
Right.
And it's a compilation of different um, trainings I've had, experiences in my education, and it's really, if I must say so myself, it's really kind of brilliant, and it kind of brings it home in a way that people can visualize. Um, so that's what the Stuckness book is about, and it's it's pretty cool because it's actually divided into chapters. What is stuckness? What
Okay.
causes it? What causes it? How to get unstuck? All this stuff, and then
Right.
a prologue, and it's it's in Muse as a journal. Under each one, there's a place where somebody can write, because a lot of these kind of take some reflection or thinking. And
Okay.
I know people who have the book that would take it to bed and they'd read one, and they would use it as journaling.
Okay.
And so that's a cool book. It's, I don't know, it's not very big. It's a lot of space because there's room for writing,
Yeah.
but it's about 168 pages or something like that.
Okay.
Um, and um, I was also a co-author in a book about Silicon Valley, individual
Okay.
stories about Silicon Valley, called The Spirit of Silicon Valley.
Right.
And these are all on Amazon.
Yes, and
Um,
I'm looking at your Amazon page right now, and I would encourage people to go to Amazon and just type your name. That's what I did. Lynnea Hagen, Lynnea Hagen, Hagen,
yeah.
and the books do pop up right on the top of the page. So
And a couple of these are best-selling books. The Spirit of Silicon Valley is a bestseller. And then I was involved in another book called The Change, and there's a whole series of books called The Change. This is Change number 7.
okay.
And so I'm all about inspiration.
Okay.
I
I
strive
believe
to be an
that.
inspiring person and to inspire others and lift them up to be all they can be, and to achieve their dreams. So anyway, so I'm a co-author in the book The Change 7. I had to write down what I'm co-author in book. I was co-author and editor of a fun book um, written with a professional, well, I guess kind of professional musician, and it's a marketing book.
Okay.
and it's called The Starving Musician's Guide to Getting More Paying Gigs.
Say the
And
title again.
The Starving Musician's Guide. No, The Unstarving Musician's Guide
Let me look. I've got it
to
right here.
getting more gigs.
Yes, it's right here. Yeah, the unstarving musicians. Right. Good. Very good.
And
Very nice.
that was fun, but it's a marketing book that anybody can use. And it's really surprising when I was working on this to see some really simple things that people aren't doing. In fact,
Yeah.
when I go to listen to a band or something, I look around and say, they're not, they're missing the boat here. So,
In what regard? Say more about that.
in how they could use that one opportunity to market themselves.
Like putting
They
a sign up, or what are you saying?
putting up a sign, having some kind of collateral that shows, their the upcoming gigs, um, showing their Facebook page, or you know
Right.
anything that shows any place where people can reach them online. How about just an email? These
Yeah.
could be posted anywhere, and they can keep saying this, while they're playing, saying, you can contact us, as you can get our newsletter,
This way.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but they just play and then they go. It's
Uh,
anyway, it's really interesting. I mean, it's simple enough just to, it's cheap enough really to just do a little banner or
yeah.
behind you or in front of you
Right.
that has information. So anyway, there's so many ways.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that was fun. Um,
How did
uh,
you how did you come to write that book? How did you meet the other people, and
oh, this
what was
particular
the
one,
journey on this?
he was in a group. I have a very dear friend who has an entrepreneurial group for women. Actually, it's
Okay.
called Promote Her Business, and women in business should absolutely check this out. Um, she's a brilliant, heart-centered, incredibly gifted and intelligent woman. She's young enough to be my daughter.
What's her name?
Her name is Josephine Hanan, Hanan, but she goes by Jose. When she introduces herself, she goes, "My name is Josephine Hanan, but you call me Jose." And she
Okay.
has this wonderful organization called Promote Her Business. So I went to kind of a roundtable there, and this gentleman happened to be there, and he was looking for an editor for his
Hmm.
book.
Okay.
And so I do professional editing and co-authoring and
Right.
writing and stuff for people.
Hmm.
And so we talked, and I'm a big music fan. I'm a musician myself. So anyway, it was an opportunity to do that. It was fun.
Okay.
Um,
Now, let me interrupt you while I think of it. What do you charge for your editing?
oh, I have to check. Actually, I go by the what's ever set up. There's actually online. You can find a schedule of editing for different types of things. And so I kind of go by that, and I can edit and I can proofread pretty fast. So I tell people I can spot a misplaced comma like 50 yards away. So
So
yeah,
you
it's
don't
fun.
remember the number, $50 an hour or something, or 100 or
I don't recall. I'd have to check and kind of see. And I don't charge a lot because I want to help small people get ahead.
do you still accept those kind of assignments or not
Oh, you
really?
bet. You bet.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. It's fun for me.
Okay.
I can do ghost writing. I'm in fact, I was just told by a psychic that I was a writer in a past life, which really makes sense to me. And we can go into that
Oh,
go into that later. Because
very cool. Very cool.
anyway, there's another one that's really excellent by one of my mentors, and it's the esteemed, truly, Dr. Lance Secretan. Um, and it's his leadership model, the castle model that I use when I work with people to build themselves into inspiring leaders.
Hmm.
And he asked me to be a co-author, a contributor to a book called "What We Got Wrong About Business." And so
Okay.
I've got a lot of articles. So when somebody wants me to submit to a book, I can probably just pull up an article and just throw it in there. Um,
Okay.
and then there was the Spirit of Silicon Valley. My story is in there. Um, and it's about people at different ages, places in life, careers, that type of thing in Silicon Valley. And
Okay.
it's very interesting. There's a lot of, it's a big place, but there's a lot of stories out there, and um, how we got here, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And then let me see, I mentioned the Change 7. I have a couple that are in the works. My next one is turning fertilizer into manure,
Okay.
growing and blooming from what life throws you. And
I like the title. It's cute.
it's yeah, it was going to be a little stronger word for fertilizer, but
Yeah.
I mean for manure. But
Yeah, you
we'll see how
couldn't
that
get
play.
it past the
No, we'll
couldn't
see
get
how
it.
that plays out. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't have to put every single letter in there
Right.
in a word, but
Right.
and that's basically, from my Stuckness book. I'm going to expand on that
Okay. Very
and
good. Very
tell
nice.
some personal stories.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
the other
So
one
yeah.
is from my leadership show. I had Abundance Leadership several years ago, and I have the recordings from that I probably need to put on YouTube. But I'm getting transcripts from that, and I'll just do that. It's
But
called lead, lead
make them into a book. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Leadership Stew, and it's nourishing chunks of leadership wisdom by you know.
Any thought when either one of those will be out?
I'm thinking that probably the manure and a fertilizer one will be out maybe in 6 months.
Okay. Now, how do you go about finding editors, or do you self-publish, or
The Spirit of Silicon Valley was self-published by one of my co-authors, and but I have my Stuckness book was published by Think Aha. It's
hmm,
aha.com.
okay,
It's Mitchell Levy, who is, in fact, I'm working with him right now to build, to continue to help others build clarity. And without clarity, we have no communication. People don't know who we are and what we do
right,
for a living.
right,
And so to build credibility. And so um, I'm kind of in a book of a group of self-supporting um, consultants and coaches
okay.
through Mitchell. Mitchell is rated as one of the top thought leaders on LinkedIn in the world, and he has a
Hmm.
publishing arm called Think Aha, and I did my first book through him.
How did you meet him in the first place?
Oh, I met him. We have a mutual acquaintance, a professional colleague, but she's become a friend, Kimberly Weefling, and Kimberly does these incredible things at her house where she brings in kind of powerful, um, smart consultants, and
Okay.
so I met him there first,
Oh,
and she does sessions there where we take turns teaching, and
okay.
that type. And then once a month she brings in a band and just has a music night at her house. So
I'll be
anyway,
darned.
and
Okay.
she knows a million people. That's
Ha
one.
ha ha.
She really
At
does.
least, yeah,
Internationally, she's been working
yeah,
internationally for a long time and with leaders and
yeah.
engineers.
Wow.
So I met Mitchell there.
Now, what's Mitchell's last name? Have we heard of him? Or
It's Levy. Levy. It's Levy.
okay,
He's everywhere.
okay. Wow.
He
Very
has
cool.
a few different companies.
Yeah,
Um, and then Lance Secretan, who's like my idol, he spoke at a coaching conference 22 years ago that I went to. And I said, someday I'm going to work with him. And it's kind of like things, yeah, someday I'm going to work with God
yeah.
himself. Um, but um, he's hugely respected, very well known, and consistently rated like number 3 by the leadership journals is the top leadership coaches and consultants in the world.
Wow.
And we're friends. And so he's got a publishing arm as well. So, so the next one is going to be a toss up. Gee, who do I not want to offend?
Ha ha ha.
Oh, these two
Well,
really wonderful men.
obviously, you'll have to write two versions or write two books and bring them out at the same time and have them flip a coin about which one they want.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they've both done so much for me. Whose feelings do I want to hurt
Not
the
offend, not
least?
offend. Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Very good.
And I don't think that each of them have egos that big. I mean,
No,
when
I
you have
know.
a certain
You're
personal growth,
joking. Yeah.
yeah, but
Mm,
I want to honor them and how we work together and stuff.
yeah.
So anyway,
Well, this guy named Lance, you've talked about him before.
oh yeah,
How do you spell his last name?
it's starts out like secretary is Secretan. Secretan.
Secretan, Secretan. Okay.
Yeah, highly recommend him.
I just want viewers to have the chance to look these people up if they want to.
I'm on his
So,
website.
okay.
I'm a
Which,
certified Pathfinder coach
okay.
with him, which is I'm
Mm,
very proud of that. So, and he's just a lovely, amazing human being.
wow. Okay. Now, what is a Pathfinder coach?
Um,
How does it differ from other more standard types of coaching?
well, it's I'm certified to use his material, to coach with his material, and to use it in my speaking engagements.
Okay.
And
All right.
of course, if I share anything of his, I make sure that I give attribution and, if
Yeah,
necessary, a
of course.
trademark.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and he has
You
something called
just
higher ground leadership, and it's pretty wonderful.
you 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 have been out there associating with famous people and very wise people for so long. It's I'm in awe of you. I think the smartest person I ever met besides yourself was probably Bozo the Clown. So,
That's a pretty
and
high
I,
bar, pretty high
yeah.
bar there, Mark.
Oh yeah. Yeah, very high. Yeah. As I told someone once, I can't even spell AI. So, yeah. So
Well,
we
I can
have,
help you with that.
yeah, and you really, praise the Lord. I'm stuck, stuck on S. We have a goodly amount of time left.
Okay.
So, do we want to talk more about the books? Would you like to tell us something? What would you like to say to us? You want me to make up questions like, why does your daughter have green hair or something like that?
I have no daughters. I have twin sons and a
Oh,
black
okay.
poodle.
I don't
Black
know, black
poodle.
standard or what?
He is. I've had nothing but miniature poodles. Well, I've had a couple different ones that in an apartment when I was in college, and
Okay.
in our house when I was growing up. But anyway, miniature poodle since I was 14.
Oh my
And I
God.
think some people just have their dog of choice and dog that
I'm
suits
I'm
them.
very partial to labs myself
Yeah, and
and
they're
collies.
wonderful.
I've
Yeah,
had a collie, I've had a lab, I've had a beagle. So over the years. So what
yeah.
size is a standard poodle? I mean, a not standard, a miniature poodle. Are they really, really
They
small or not?
no, those are the toys.
Okay.
Those are the toys. I think the standard for them is they can't be any higher than maybe. You see,
The toys or the one you
the
have?
toys. I think maybe
Okay.
10 inches at the shoulder.
Okay. So
Uh,
yours is what size? Like the size of a beagle or
he
size of a
is
collie or
no, he's a miniature, which is in between. Actually, I when I go, and the reason I like them, and I know people say get rescues, which I have done, but I like to work with the breeder because I need to know what the dog has been through, because poodles
yeah.
are highly intelligent, but they're also highly sensitive. And if they're
Okay.
mistreated, there's really no way to pull them out of that.
Yeah.
And I love the breed. They're so smart. They're incredibly loyal. They won't walk home with anybody else.
Oh.
Um, they're very affectionate and they don't shed. They like to be clean.
Hmm.
And they really don't bark much. I mean, he barks if there's somebody at the door, but I want a good watchdog, which they are.
Yeah, okay.
And so I don't want shedding.
Yeah, and you're saying they don't shed, huh?
No, no,
Hmm.
they have hair, so that's why they have to be clipped a lot.
Hmm.
And then I mean, I know a lot about poodles because I've had them for a long time,
Well,
but
yeah, and I bring it up because when I used to work in lawn mowing, I started working when I was 14.
Uh-huh.
One of my clients had a set of standard poodles,
Wow.
and I didn't know. I mean, I had a picture of what a poodle was from TV. When I saw these dogs, a standard poodle is big.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah, they can be really
seriously
big.
big. Like they
They
look a
are.
little bigger than a German Shepherd or something. They're big.
Yeah, they
I,
kind of run the gamut, but yeah, they're big. And my dog is kind of in between a miniature and a standard. In fact,
yeah.
here in Carmel, there is something called Poodle Days, and
Okay.
people from all over the country and all over the world. This is going to sound funny, but it is so much fun. The dogs have
Yeah.
a blast. The people have a blast,
Right.
and I don't do the foo-foo things. You know, he's not cutting that fancy cut because that's a
Right.
hunting cut, believe it or not. The big, thing with the
Oh.
pom-poms on their feet and
Right.
and the the,
Right.
the big front that's all
Right.
hair, and shaved on the back. It's a hunting cut because they're water dogs for hunting.
I'll be darned. I didn't know
And
that.
so I keep mine on like a puppy cut and stuff. So he's just kind of curly and shaggy all over. But yeah, mine's I got him. He's 2.5 years old. I got him about 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I always ask for the largest male you have. Well, this guy's a moose. I do because I want a certain size.
Yes. Yeah.
And this one, my last two happen to be black, so they're a little bit more imposing.
Right.
And but he is a kick. He's very funny.
What's
Play
his
is
name? What's his name?
his name is okay.
Yeah.
If people know music, they're going to know this name.
Okay.
His name is Bizet,
Okay.
and
Yes. Uh-huh.
named after Georges Bizet, the
Mhm.
composer. I
Right.
love music, and Georges Bizet has a piece called the Symphony in C, which is just so joyous. I mean,
Oh.
I've seen San Francisco Ballet dance to it, and I thought, oh, this is so much fun. I love this piece. So my last dog was Patou, who was named after Jean Patou, the French fashion designer. And I'm French. I'm not French. I have
How do
some
you
French in me.
spell the word Bizet?
Bizet.
Because I'm the one I like the most. I spend more time than you think a guy from Ohio would with composers. And I like composers a lot, and I love listening to their music. My
Mm-hmm.
favorite is Rachmaninoff.
Oh my gosh,
I'm just a nut about Rachmaninoff. I
he's
love his
very
work.
powerful.
It's so complicated, and the people who play his music, it helps if you have hands that are so big because the music is so complicated. And
Yeah, you've really got to stretch. You got to
well, and
stretch your
people
hands.
and I listened to a documentary about his life, and they said that some of his sheet music is written in a way because it represents the music itself. The music goes so fast and is so complicated that the notes are actually positioned on top of each other, partially on top of each other on the sheet music.
So they run together. The chords kind of run together, like
Yeah,
like
very
this.
much so. And it just
Okay.
I got to listen to I don't get to go to the symphony very much, but we have a thing over here called Symphony Silicon Valley.
They're wonderful.
And back in the day, a friend of mine at church was the general manager, and she got me tickets, and I got to hear someone who's pretty famous for doing Rachmaninoff to play it, and that was a special moment in my life. I swear it really was. It
The
just
artistic
divine.
director, the artistic director and conductor for that symphony was actually in the Spirit of Silicon Valley book. I interviewed him,
Okay.
and it's fascinating. Or we're getting way off track, but it's
No,
fascinating.
I don't. No, the reason, and let me say something to you and to the audience as well, for those future TV producers out there. What's going on right now in the world is we want to get to know people as people.
Yeah.
And once we know someone as a real person who has a dog named Bizet, who likes, meatloaf and mashed potatoes, that's me, not her,
Know me.
and etc. That does something that the world right now really craves. because we're all doing online, we're all doing blah blah
Yeah.
blah, and knowing someone, the grit of someone is very, very nurturing,
Yes.
very compassionate, and just as friends. And by the way, that is the type of person that you're more likely to buy something from. So some lady out there right now who's maybe works as a carpenter or welder is going, I really like this Lynnea Hagen lady. I like Bizet. I'm going to buy her damn book. And she didn't buy it because of anything other than she identified with her as a person. And this has been proven hundreds of times. I don't have a I'm going to refer to a fake special report. There was a special report that said anyway, So that's we just have to be ourselves. There's in a marketplace where there are millions of people trying to be known, the only, in my opinion, the only way to do it is to be your frigging self. And once I finally figured that out, I started being more myself on the show as a host. I joke more with my guests. I do the gritty kind of extemporaneous, unpretentious style that I'm comfortable with. And it's not going to be I'm not going to be another Angela Jolie because I don't have the chest for it. But I'm going to be. There was a joke in there somewhere.
Yeah,
But
or the genetics or
or
something.
the genetics. But I will
Hormones.
for those people that get to know what I do and like it. There's going to be a small niche out there that goes, that Mark Potter is crazy as hell, but I just love his show.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're obviously over time,
Well,
which is
I'm crazy.
kind of a
I'm
good
crazy as
thing.
hell too, but
Yeah, well, I didn't want to say that to you because the devil's on my right shoulder here going, don't give her so much promotion.
I just want to tap into what you just said.
Yes.
Um, and this has been proven statistically. There's a lot of studies on everything.
Okay.
And people will buy from somebody they know, they
Yep.
like, and they
Yep.
trust.
Yep. That's it. That's it. If you don't learn anything else today, don't learn that either. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, we got to stay under 29 minutes to be able to get this on a TV network in the future. So I'm going to sign off. We love you guys dearly. We're going to do lots more shows together. Uh, just take care. I love you guys very much for helping with the show. Lynnea, it's always an honor to see you, my dear. I just don't get this wrong, but I love you dearly. You can have your husband assassinate me if you want or whatever. So, all
He
right.
won't. He won't.
All right. All right, kids.
Okay.
It's been
Okay.
real. Thanks for the memories.
Sure has.
All right.